Morning. I'm a trophy husband. My mother-in-law got me this cup, so that means it's true. I know what y'all are saying. I'll prove it. Miss Anna had a dramatic thing happen to her this last weekend. She took her daughter. That cat. Well, hello there. Had to get in the picture somehow. Take her daughter to college down in Oregon. Now, we live in Washington State, okay? And took her down there, and it was like an end of a chapter for her, and she's kind of been feeling this void, you know? And Misty Bishop probably knows this, and of course Pastor TC, Pastor Jay, probably a lot of you know this, you know, when your first child went off to become an adult, and so she's just feeling that, and so I didn't want her to walk into Emily's bedroom because it was completely empty, and it was going to be her new sewing room for Miss Anna's sewing room. And so I told my son, let's go and get her sewing tables, because they were out in the living room up against the wall, and she sews there. She can look out the window and watch the cats and the sheep and all that, and the goats and everything. But we went ahead and moved the tables in and positioned them in Emily's room slash Anna's sewing room. And so when she came home, it wasn't so much of a void. There was something in there. And, I really felt the Lord had told me to do that. And somebody gave me an idea to go ahead and set my drum set up where her sewing stuff was in the living room. But I was like, I'm all for jokes and loving to do those kind of things. But I'd have had to remove them. And that's a lot of work. And this was really not a time for jokes, and so sometimes I know when not to. But anyways, the whole purpose of my video this morning is I want to give you an update. Misty Bishop from It's All About the Lord Jesus 2018, she said, just checking on you, hadn't seen or heard from you, and and so I didn't want to do a video just for the sake of doing a video. I love to do sermons and things like that, and I'm going to get back to doing those ones in the office and finishing my book. We're on Samson. I just haven't got, I don't know. I'm kind of in a dry spell right now of doing those like that and really getting into doing all the editing and everything. But I'm praying about it and praying that God will give me that energy and that excitement to do that again. Because I thoroughly enjoy teaching, and so, but this is about the VA. This situation with the VA. They every time I put a video out and ask you guys to pray, something else happens in the positive. So I really appreciate that. At least one other person besides myself is praying, because God says in His book, where two or more are gathered together, He is right there, and so. And I know that my, Miss Anna is praying too. And so the thing is with this, my next appointment is mental health. I was like, well, why are you interviewing me? I'd get a bigger percentage if you interviewed my wife and my sister. Oh, and Emily, my daughter. I'd go 100% right there. But, no, I'd gone and saw a mental health counselor a couple of times because I was dealing with the stress of work, and the stress was always, okay, oh, good job, you got somebody in. I was a recruiter for the National Guard. Where's the next one? I was like, I'm working some people, just bring it down a minute. Why don't you go, bother people that are not putting people in? And it was constant like that, And they said, well, you're like one of the only ones we can rely on. I said, okay, just, I don't like it when you do that. I feel like I'm being pushed. And he goes, well, we really need, we need to meet this number. I says, well, then preach to the other choir, not this choir, And so it was constant stress, constant trying to get people cleared and qualified to be in the military. And so I went and talked to him, and he goes, well, it'll all go away once you retire. And I thought, yeah, but I got to get to that point. And when I get done with this recruiting bit, I'm never doing this again, because the money was outrageous. It was awesome, but it wasn't worth the stress. And the retirement is good, but I often wonder if I could have done something else with less stress. I don't know, but it's okay. It's done and over with, and I'm collecting my retirement, so nothing we can do. We can just push forward. Well, when I went into substitute teaching, it was awesome. I didn't have any responsibility other than just making sure, I got the numbers in the class that was supposed to be there. It was awesome. And then that kind of shut down because of COVID, and so I ended up getting a job at SkillSource as a trainer. That's what the title was. And you know what? It's not. It's recruiting all over again, but there's no stress. I mean, they do have numbers as an office to meet, but that's not on me, really. What has happened is I've gone back in that recruiting mode, and I brought in between 30 to 40 people in 1 month to process through our training, which they were like, whoa! I overloaded the system. They had to bump people out to the next class, and they've never had that since we've started, since they've had to switch over to this kind of deal with COVID, where you can only do Zoom. And everybody's now talking about this, and it's really nice. It's really nice to know that that's that. But the problem is now, when I give names to this certain person to do what they're supposed to do and they don't do it, then I feel like I've let my applicant down. And I kind of had a meltdown the other day about it. And so really it hasn't stopped. There's 20 years of military, or 20 plus years of military in here, that says that I have to make sure that this and this and this is done, or else, people are going to be disappointed. And everybody just couldn't understand in the office why I was getting so upset about it. And finally, the next day I was called in the office, in the big person's office. Says, how you doing? I says, yeah, I know what this is about. And I explained to her what was going on, and she says, hey, we do the best we can. We've never had this problem. This has been a good problem, and we'll work through it. And so I ended up calling the customers and telling them what happened. And I says, hey, but we're going to do this, this, and this until you can get into the next class. And it all worked out, but it was those, what this psychiatrist had told me why I was in the military, about it'll all go away once I get out. It doesn't go away. Those I don't even know what to call it, but what you've been programmed, it's going to take a long time to get that, out, if it ever does, And so, PTSD is real, and, when and I don't think this is that, but it would be a form of it, because it wasn't something traumatic that just happened, all of a sudden, or somebody getting killed in front of my face, but it was a process of the way things went. And so anyways, I got that appointment, which it came up a lot faster than normal. They were like, I got a call and said, hey, we had a cancellation, and normally we book these appointments out 2 to 3 months, and we've got one this Friday. I was like, wow, that was fast. And she goes, yeah, actually, you just popped up to the top of the list. And I was like, that's God all over that, And so we have to go through these appointments so that then they can decide you know, what the percentage is. And I'm going to have one for my back, and then I'm going to have one for my knees. But they start at the head, then they work down, you know. But I just want to say thank you so much for praying for this to happen, get these things going. And you know, during this COVID time, it could take a lot longer than normal. And God is just pushing it through, and I know that you guys are praying. So hey, keep praying about it. You know, I just want to make sure we can get everything buttoned up here. I got my retirement ceremony coming up. Had a few mixed feelings about that, and the retirement ceremony is in September, around the 22nd. So that's pretty cool. They're going to give me my retirement awards. There's going to be people coming from the headquarters, and we're going to be doing it at the National Guard Armory here. And that's going to, you know, my wife gets an award for putting up with their junk too. But yeah, they actually give the spouse the family awards, and that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. But anyways, I'll keep giving you updates. But I do promise I'm going to get back to doing some videos and good teaching videos. I really miss doing that, but I'm still studying. I get up about 5:30 every morning and sit with the Lord and get some things done, and work on the publication that I put out every month. If you're interested in being on that list, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, put in the comments below your email address, and then I will email you and I'll ask you for your physical address, and I mail it out physically. It comes in a pamphlet form. I love writing them. Misty Bishop, she gets one. I send one out, and I'm sending one out to Rodney. He's a new YouTube friend of mine, and well, whether he likes it or not, he's my friend now. I love watching his shows. But you know, I send it out to my YouTube friends and people that ask, and just send me your address. You know, well, give me your email address, and then I'll email you, and you can send me your address, and I physically mail it out. I enjoy putting those together. That gives me joy. That gives me the articles are really cool that I get, and I come up with things, and we're studying Moses and the 10 plagues right now in those, and I go into detail in depth with those things. So I may do a YouTube video on each plague. That would be fun. Yeah, it's not long. So anyways, okay, God bless. Love you guys, and I appreciate all of you. Have a great day.